right? See, for example, what happens is students are saying, okay, I may get a salary of 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 12 lakhs. That's okay. But don't charge me 20 lakhs, 25 lakhs as fee for that, right? Because otherwise I'm getting out of the college with a lot of big burden of loan on me, right? And we're simply saying that whatever your salary is as a starting point, you should not carry the burden of the loan against that, right? And
Mm.
hence we are assuring an ROI by limiting the fees at 75%. So that's the big bet. And because we've so confidently built the learning in the background and the industry network in the background, we're confident of delivering this and owning that risk along with the student.
Well, yes, rightly quoted by you that this is a risk, right? As a business. So if we look at Crucible as not as a business school, but as a business altogether, as you rightly pointed out, that education is a business in the country. This model that you're offering, the fee structure, and also the kind of curriculum that you're offering, which comes with a cost, definitely. This is entirely a risk. And now, if I have to bring in the angle of placements, me as an MBA student, where I have seen this happening right in front of my eyes just last year, that placement is a function of market, placement is a function of economy, placement is a function of luck. In most of the cases, don't you think that this risk is not a very calculated risk to take on a student who might just be a very good student but not be able to land up in a good position or in a good paying role, in a high paying role? So from a business point of view, the institute suffers. Don't you think so?
So, I mean, obviously, that can happen. Okay, but the fact of the matter is that if the risk is entirely on the student and the college doesn't participate in that risk, that's also not right, because otherwise the colleges can take it very, very easy, which is what exactly is happening, right? If the colleges weren't allowed to take it this easy, there should be two things that need to happen with the education industry and MBA education industry. One is your fees has to be linked to the salary, whatever that number is. I mean, for us it is 75%. For other colleges it can be 100%, etc. But there has to be some linkage. And the other thing that can also change and should change is if you're not able to place a certain number of students, your number of intake, the quota that you're able to intake next year should go down by that number. So you have 500 seats, but you've not been able to place 100 students out of that. Next year, you should only be allowed to intake 400 students because you don't have the capability of placing more than 400 students, right? So that's for the other colleges. But for us, while it carries a risk, we're saying that we mitigate that risk by various ways. Okay. One, see, in a very bad scenario like COVID scenario, obviously it's a problem, right? We're not talking of those extreme scenarios. We're talking of steady state scenarios, and in that case, obviously there will be one odd student who might not get placed, etc. But there are conditions on the student side also. It's not a free lunch for the student as well. There is a certain requirement of effort from the student's end, which is measured very objectively every month, every term, every year, right? So the students also have to keep up their end of the bargain, saying that minimum amount of effort is being provided, and students get a report card every month saying that have they done that or not, right? Because I mean, this does not work if the effort is not also put in equally by the student. So that's one, right? And the moment we realize that the student is not putting in the right amount of effort, this benefit does not apply to them, because we've built this whole benefit to benefit the right student and not have it as an easy way of scamming the system. I mean, people who want to scam the system anyway is not part of Crucible ecosystem, because we want really genuine students who really want to do good work and put in the right effort to improve their career. So that's one, right? Which also includes attendance, which also includes certain part of grades, which also includes the amount of effort they're putting into live projects, etc., etc. So that's one. The other is basically we're saying that we've always kept realistic salary expectations. So we're not saying that, oh, you can easily get a 15 lakh salary or an 18 lakh salary just because we're a modern B school. We're saying that the market reality, it hovers around that range of 8 to 12 lakh per annum salary, which is where the entry level and mid management salaries currently function, right? Because why are the colleges struggling to show consistent placements with increased batch sizes? Simply because the industry demand doesn't exist. It was an inflated demand that was portrayed saying that, oh, there are so many jobs available at 15 lakh plus. But even if you pull out top 200 colleges data or even top 100 college data in the country, you will see that beyond the top 40, 50 colleges, the average drops down significantly to 12, 14 lakhs, right? I'm sure you've seen the extremely new IIM's placement reports for this particular year, and the averages have gone down as low as 12 lakhs, right? Which is the true reality of the industry. I mean, those 20 plus lakh jobs don't exist in that quantum, right? And as long as we are realistic about what is the industry demand and we are working with the right set of companies. The other problem, one is unreal expectation, and the colleges want to do it because they want to push their fees. Because अगर मैं salary 8 लाख की बोलूंगा तो फीस 15
Hmm.
लाख की फीस बेसिस पे चार्ज कर पाऊंगा. So they want to push that narrative saying कि fees बढ़ेगी, salary बढ़ेगी, which is not happening. And this cycle will correct itself, and rationalization within the students will happen automatically over the next 2 3 years. But that's the first thing: realistic salary expectations. Two, it is the kind of companies we work with, right? We very clearly said that if the curriculum and the entire learning has to be relevant to the industry, we can't cater to all types of companies in the industry. So we have
Yeah.
narrowed down to our niche, which is saying digital first businesses, basically
Correct.
companies that have started 6 to 7 years ago with digital first approach and now trying to become omni channel. And within that cohort, we're saying that there is enough demand because there's so much that's happening. I mean, all of us have seen what's happened on Shark Tank, what's happening in the
Hmm.
startup ecosystem. The problem is all of these legacy MBA colleges have a set recruiter list that they keep going to every year. Those legacy recruiters keep coming, etc. And startup environment is generally labeled as a risky bet to take, especially after investing so much in fees, right?
Yeah.
So colleges don't really have an ecosystem to understand which is the right kind of startup company that the students can actually do meaningful work in. Whereas we have a completely opposite approach. We are saying that all modern businesses who don't really care what's the degree tag that a student carries versus what is the skill that they bring to the table, we are working with all of those kind of companies, new age businesses basically. And because that's such a growing spectrum in the country, I mean, there's enough demand of the right talent, given that the salary expectation is reasonable, right? All of these companies require great talent, skilled talent, trained talent, which is ready from day one, because they have like really tight P&Ls. They can't afford to pay high salaries to a fresher out of college and then also, I mean, train them on the job. They're saying, okay, if the student is trained enough and expects a reasonable salary, there's enough demand. So that is the second point. We're saying that as long as we're true to that, there shouldn't be any particular problem. And if for a few students, in spite of that effort, in spite of all of this, if it
Yeah.
fails, it fails. I mean, that is the risk we carry. But I mean, that's exactly what keeps us like on our feet every single day, right? There's no possibility of us relaxing even when we scale because we take that seriously. We've built Crucible to actually add value to the student. Earning money through it is obviously only till a point that we can invest back in business and keep the quality improving through that additional profits that we make. But we're not doing this to like run it as a business that is like highly profitable, etc., for our personal gains. That's not the objective. And as long as we're true to that, there's enough money to be made in spite of this model, in spite of those risks, because the margins in education business are very, very high.